Probably one of my favorite memories with Bill Tice revolves around summer camp in sophomore year. Bill came along as one of the leaders, and I ended up in a cabin with him and only a couple other guys, but he spent the whole week mentoring us and, you know, talking to us and doing the activities with us, and, you know, I learned a lot from him during that week, and the discussion was really incredible. And he gave me a note that week, and I still have it, and it still means a lot to me, so I appreciate that memory.
Probably one of the funniest moments was when Mr. Tice, I was talking to him about hiking, and he was just like, oh, so you should go up to the mountains and go and do a 4-day backpacking trip, like it was nothing. And I was thinking, I'm not going to spend 4 days backpacking. I'm going to go hiking for maybe a couple hours. But yeah, it was pretty funny. Got a good laugh out of it.
Favorite Bill Tice memory? How about all of the Mexico trip? That was a pretty good one. Fun thing is that they actually have a photo album, the family down there, with pictures of Bill Tice from way back in the day, and he's got an impressive head of hair up there, which I thought was pretty cool. Anyway.
So my favorite memory of Bill Tice was when we went to Mexico. I went on a missions trip with the Dos Pueblos Relief. We went to San Vicente, Mexico, and what I learned, or there was a day when it was just a lot of hard work, and then at the end of the day, I had to do the dishes in the house, and I don't know, I wasn't too happy with that. I had done so much work that day, and I saw Mr. Tice just talking with the family that we were staying with, and the things he would say to me were really encouraging, and I just thought, like, well, I'm on a missions trip for a reason. And it kind of showed me how it's not about doing the work, it's about meeting the people and just letting God change people's lives. And it made me think of missions work in a whole new way, like that it's not about me. So, yeah.
Oh man, that was, all the blood was going to my head. My favorite Bill Tice memory. So, we were freshmen, I think, and we went to Bill Tice's house. It was the holiday season, around Christmas time, and there was some Christmas caroling going on, because, you know, Connie Tice is a piano teacher and stuff, and so one of the songs that we decided to sing was Silent Night. And in the hymnal that Bill Tice had, I think that's what the book's called, with all the little ancient songs in it. In the hymnal it had a German. It had like German translation. So we went Christmas caroling and we sang Silent Nacht. You know, like Silent Nacht, Holy Nacht, like Deutschland, na na na. You know, it was awesome, and it was really funny. And his voice was like super low and stuff.
Favorite Bill Tice memory. I would have to say, probably when he worked with us at Habitat for Humanity. We showed up one day, we came to build a house, and lo and behold, Bill Tice was there working on the project with us, and it was pretty cool to see him. He let me use his hammer instead of using the other ones that they supplied, which his hammer is way better than everyone else's. So yeah, that was probably my best memory of him.
Bill Tice. First time I ever met him. In his garage. I said, Bill, were you a carpenter at one point? And he said, no, I do not know what time it is. Possibly my favorite Bill Tice memory. Many more where that came from, although it was one of my favorites.
And also, one word that will always stick with me with Mr. Tice is when he calls me Zablonski, because, well, just the name he's stuck with.
There was that whole bit with the cookie incident that I think it was at Meyer's house at the time. His lesson was, oh guys, we gotta stay away from temptation, not take that second look. It's like, imagine you're in Grand Central Station and there's this cookie on a table. And you're gonna look at that cookie. And it's gonna be a real good looking cookie. But you gotta not look at it twice. And he covers it with a napkin and goes, oh no, yeah. It took us a while to figure out what he was talking about, but the cookie incident is now a running joke within all of us. That was a pretty good one.
My favorite lesson that Bill taught, I don't know if I can put my finger on an exact lesson, but there were a series of lessons that we did freshman or sophomore year at Bill's house where we talked about like the historical proof of Jesus and his life and kind of looking at, okay, well, here are these different ideas about maybe the resurrection was fake, maybe, you know, these things that are in the Bible are wrong, and we took this time to really in-depth look at the proof of the gospel. And that was, for me, it was, you know, it was a major cure for doubt. Like, I'm like, you know, maybe this didn't happen at all. Maybe it's all a lie. And all of these historical things and all of these proofs from years and years ago, you know, reading through the text and working it out as a group was really stabilizing to my faith.
Favorite lesson? I do remember towards the very beginning we were talking about, in the 9th grade, we were talking about what we wanted out of this small group, what was going to be. And we hammered out the way it was going to look for the rest of the 4 years. And we decided that eventually we were going to have us teenagers lead the whole thing. And now that it's all come to fruition and we're the guys running the show, I think that's my fondest lesson that he taught us. How to be leaders. Warrior poets.
My favorite Bill Tice lesson was when he taught us about David and Goliath. It's an inspiring story of courage, and I really like the way that he presented it to us. And it's just a good application to carry with you from day to day. So, thank you for that, Mr. Tice.
Favorite lesson, I would have to say, is when he taught us Corinthians, or not taught us Corinthians, he focused on the verse Corinthians 13. The one that stuck out was Corinthians 13:13 when it's, but these 3 things remain, faith, hope, and love, but the greatest of these is love, which I don't know, that just struck a chord in me when we were reading that, and I thought that was really cool.
I was teaching the lesson for our group, and then I asked him questions, you know, like, what should I teach, what should I teach, and he's like, oh, well, just do whatever comes to your mind. And I kind of didn't understand what he meant by that, but like right as soon as, like a day before we were going to go have our meeting, you know, it was just like, boom, I had it. You know, it was pretty cool.
Well, out of the few times I went to small groups at the Myers house, probably my favorite lesson with Bill Tice was the last one we had, which was about love, because it kind of really opened my eyes to something that I've never really seen before. And, well, when he brought it up, it was in Corinthians chapter 13, I believe, and it was describing how one can have all the knowledge in the world and all the theological, you know, theological basis behind him, but if he did not have any love, then he was really nothing. And, well, I really never saw this before, and it was thanks to Bill and bringing the lesson that I was able to see that, and it really has influenced me as a Christian into thinking that love is really necessary.
I think that giving back to the community would be a big thing, you know, because he really does spend a lot of time in the community, so giving back to the community would be a good thing. Hopefully I can continue to do that.
If I could have one quality that Bill has, it would be his dedication, whether it be his trips to Mexico or giving back to the community through the food outreach or helping with our small group. I just really appreciate his dedication.
One quality in Bill Tice that I like to have as a man is his leadership quality. Anytime he walks in a room, he's a very commanding figure, and all attention is on him, and he uses his leadership position well. He's a very eloquent speaker, and I'd like to be able to use the words the way that he does. He's a very good man. I'd like to be that kind of leader when I'm older.
One quality that I'd like to have when I'm older that Mr. Tice has is his service that he's always willing to give to others. He lends his time to the youth and is always going on mission trips to help others. And he's always thinking of others before himself. So hopefully when I get to be Mr. Tice's age, I'll have that quality of servitude that he possesses.
One quality that I would like to have that Bill Tice has right now is his ability to lead. Because, well, with his wisdom, it's kind of a given. When he talks, you pay attention and you take his advice because he's experienced so much and he's done so much for the community. And he has lived all these years in faith, and so I feel like he would be a very good person to get advice from and to seek guidance from.
I think I'd like to have Mr. Tice's positivity and his outlook on life. He just sees everything as a blessing and knows that God puts things in his life for a reason. And I'd like to be content with things like that and just know that God has a plan.
Cool thing about Bill Tice is that he has time to meet with everyone and time to really set aside for us guys whenever we need it. I've shown up at his house randomly without being announced, and he's retired, so we can do that. I want to be able to devote myself in that kind of way. He's always there whenever he can, when he's not in, you know, who knows a stand doing whatever he does. But yeah, I think when I'm as old as he is, I want to be able to say I am that involved with the lives of people who matter.
Three words to describe Bill Tice: genuine, warrior, poet.
Helpful, motivated, and dedicated.
The greatest thing that ever happened to Mexico.
Compassionate, positive, and welcoming.
Savior of children.
Compassionate.
One thing that I really appreciated about Bill Tice was that despite the fact that I was kind of new to the group, from the very start he brought me along and he kind of involved me in the conversation, and he wanted to see my point of view on things, and he gave everyone a chance to speak out and to see what they believe so they could, you know, reflect on the lesson and kind of give their thought on the lesson. And I really appreciated that.
So one time he taught us to be warrior poets, and I didn't really know what that meant back then, but this year some things kind of came to me, so I decided that I wanted to go to prom. So, and I also decided I should be a warrior poet, so I asked the girl with a poem of sorts. I mean, it had rhyming words in it, and I was a warrior because I just went up and did it. I didn't do it face to face, which is kind of lame, but whatever. Okay, it worked out and she said yes, so that was tight, and he taught me how to do that. It was all him.
What can you say? He's Mr. Tice. He's out there. He's got the voice of an oak tree. When he says something, you listen. And when you say something, he listens and then asks you to repeat it, and then you do, and then he understands.
Bill Tice has influenced my life in the way that he's been my mentor through my high school years. In English class, we've been studying the hero's journey, and every hero needs a mentor, and Bill Tice has been that to me. He's given me wisdom and be able to strengthen my faith in a way that is grown exponentially.
What I appreciate the most about Bill Tice is that he really put in the time and effort into working with us children every other Tuesday night, and I appreciate how open he was with us and how just welcoming. When I came there the first time, he really welcomed me. He wasn't like offsetting. He's your average guy. He's cool, and I really appreciated that about him.
The man has compassion for everyone. I come in to a meeting at Brian Meyer's house, and he immediately confronts me. And and asks about my day, about my weeks, about where I'm going in life. And I like that.
I appreciate that he was dedicated, caring, and that he taught us to be better people, better men, better followers of Christ, and that he continues to serve others in our community and internationally. And I have the utmost respect for him and gratitude for everything that he's done for all of us, and taking time out of his days and evenings to come meet with us. And you know, he's taught us the importance of being in a kind of a Bible study small group like this. He still meets in one to this day with his fellow peers and such, and he remains one of the most influential adults, at least in my life thus far. And I thank him very much for everything throughout the past 4 years.
I think that the thing I appreciate about Bill Tice the most is his ability to listen. Anytime I needed advice from him or wisdom, he'd have an open ear and he'd be ready to give me his best advice. So I really appreciate that aspect about him.
The thing I appreciate most about Bill is the time he was willing to take out of his life to invest in our lives throughout these past 4 years, and just the willingness to do that.
How has Mr. Tice impacted my life? Well, besides the very flattering letters of recommendation he sent me that allowed me to go to the college I want to go to, he has impacted my life in quite a way. He, I don't know, one day he showed up to church wearing a hat a little bit like this one. In that moment, I thought to myself, you know, Mr. Tice does a lot for the people around him. He does a lot for the world around him. There is no reason why I can't do just as much. He ends his emails with a little tagline that says, "In his grip." And I thought, that's the way that someone has to go about living. In his grip. So, here I am, in his grip.
So I guess what I'm getting at is thank you for the time you spent with us, the time you've spent teaching us, the time you've spent helping us grow to be men and realize what it's like to be a man and a Christian. And I'm grateful for that, and I appreciate the fact that you took your time to do that for us.
Mr. Tice, thank you for these past 4 years. You've been a great role model and mentor, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tice, for all that you've done.
Thanks, Bill. It's been a fun 4 years, and I really liked having you, and you helped me learn a lot and about just my faith and getting to know Christ a lot more. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks again, Mr. Tice, for your years of service and for helping grow my faith. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tice.
So thank you, Bill. We love you. I hope you can hear what I just said. Alright.
So thank you, Bill Tice, for putting all this effort into our youth group, and I really thank you for just bestowing all your wisdom upon us and getting us all the knowledge and getting us closer to God. And so really, just thank you, Mr. Tice.
Thanks, Bill, for all you did.
I would like to thank Bill Tice for all of his time and effort put into teaching the youth, and I really appreciate his effort.
Mr. Tice, you're a stand-up guy. You put a lot of time into us, and we all appreciate it. Enjoy what God's given you. We know we sure have.